We're here with Ted Zoller, the Director of Entrepreneurial Studies at UNC, and we want to talk to him about startups, entrepreneurship, innovation, tech transfer, that kind of stuff. Hi, Ted.
Hey, Sabine, how are you?
You mentioned last time we talked that the RTP area is second or fairly high up in number of PhDs.
We're actually number one in terms
Really?
of the concentration of people with advanced technology backgrounds relative to the proportion of total employment in an area. Among all metropolitan statistical areas, Research Triangle Park is number one.
Wow.
Above Silicon Valley.
Wow. But we are number 6 in startups.
Among the technology-based
Yes.
regions.
How do you explain that? What's going on there?
Well, it's interesting. You have to get into the history of Research Triangle Park to understand the question. Research Triangle Park originally was conceived as a research and development location for larger entities, for larger enterprises, corporations. The entrepreneurial culture generated after the science and technology assets were brought together. What we found is that in the 80s and the 90s, we had a number of entrepreneurs coming from large corporations starting companies, and a homegrown entrepreneurial culture being built, largely as a result of the formation of the Council for Entrepreneurial Development, which was founded right around that time. More or less a social network that was coming together in Research Triangle Park. So RTP initially got its start as a corporate research and development location, but has really evolved into an entrepreneurial hotspot subsequently.
So is there something, we have quite a few incubators / accelerators, whatever you want to call them here. Is there something missing? I mean, you hear the mantra when you're here a little while that startup companies are the lifeblood of RTP.
Absolutely.
You also hear we don't have enough VC funds here, there's not enough money flowing here. But what do you think is missing? Is it one thing, two things, more things?
Well, it's interesting. There's a real distinction between a region like Silicon Valley and a region like Research Triangle Park. RTP is an emerging region from an entrepreneurial standpoint, and the bridges that bring assets together have not been fully built. And most of those bridges are between people, the people who have pursued startup companies, who have developed serial approaches toward their work, in other words, the serial entrepreneurs. And by building bridges between people, things happen. In order to accelerate that process, there have been some interventions. For instance, the Council of Entrepreneurial Development was an intervention in the early days to bring the entrepreneurial community together. Incubation programs that you're seeing now, a couple new ones hitting the bricks, Joystick Labs, which is focused on gaming, and Launchbox Digital, which is focused on application development and software on the web primarily. Those are groups that are intended to kind of reduce the distance between people who have done it in a serial way, investors, serial entrepreneurs, and those just starting with new ideas.
Do you think there are different needs from life science startups and from IT companies, from IT startups, and what can we offer them, especially considering that now with the internet there's a lot of things that we can do virtually?
That's true. Virtual models and virtual acceleration has become kind of a business model in the entrepreneurial world. I would definitely submit to you that life sciences and information technology are two different types of industries. They have two different sets of industry clusters. The leaders that generally are skilled in one area only partially overlap the other area. But it's interesting, advanced technology entrepreneurs tend to be a community even if they have different industry focuses. My sense is that when I look at the investment patterns, generally you see investors who would invest evenly with life sciences deals and information technology deals, but among entrepreneurs they are two discrete communities. So you have to solve on kind of two levels. to bring those communities together. I've been working personally, I'm from an IT background and I was an IT entrepreneur, but I've been working pretty heavily at the university in the life sciences world. I find that just an appreciation of people who understand advanced technology approaches and innovation is what brings people together. That's the commonality. But when it comes to developing your business model and going to market, you have to know the people in the industry. So that's where it's a separation of distinction.
Is there a new tool out there through the internet, social media, where you can build these networks or build these bridges between networks or between groups to form a network? Are there some tools that you think look interesting? Yeah,
there's quite a few tools that are emerging on the network. There's a group in Silicon Valley that was really started by Mark Granovetter at Stanford, looking at the links between entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. It's a group called SV Link. Locally, there's a group that's trying to help people organize the initial team. It's a new social network called Startup With Me. These are types of interventions. I'm seeing them come out of the woodwork. I myself have done research on the development of social networking, and I have a new algorithm to identify serial entrepreneurs and investors, and I'm making that available to regions to support the development of their entrepreneurial networks. Why is networking important? It brings a community together, a critical mass, a culture of entrepreneurship. And I find that the people who are serial will give back to the people who are just starting out. It's a community that really perpetuates itself and develops and builds upon itself. So, I think you're just seeing the beginning of social networking tools coming about. Right now, most everyone is on LinkedIn or Facebook, but that's only the beginning of what you're going to see as a networking kind of transformation.
Where do you see this going? I mean, is there a tool out there, coming from an IT background, is there a tool out there that you sort of wish for to help with the entrepreneurial networking, to get that culture, to get the community together, pull in new people, maybe not just regionally, but beyond regions?
That's really the deficit I see out there in the market. I think there have been some attempts to try to build tools to do that. For instance, I've just worked with a group in Finland, believe it or not, that have this concept called Technopolis, and they've documented every single startup that's ever originated from Finland and every investor that's ever interacted or invested in a deal in Finland. Unfortunately, the US doesn't have that type of data availability. I think the entrepreneurs will fill in the hole by building a networking set of tools to make this happen, but we're just in the tip of the iceberg of what we see happening. I think that's probably why I was motivated to do what I've done, because most folks are trying to collect that data for the first time. And in the US, the data is not available. It's not easy to find out who's done what. I've been able to use equity registration data to identify people who own equity positions in entrepreneurial firms, and therefore seed the network. Therefore, you're starting somewhere as opposed to starting from the ground zero.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ted.
All right. This is great. Thank you so much, Sabine.